in this lecture we are going to discuss commentary by Sridhar Swami on the verse 18 chapter 66th verse, which is 𝗙धर्मान् परित्यज्य माम् एकां शरणं व्रज अहं त्वं सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. So Sridhar Swami, of course, he is the oldest commentator on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and he has written commentary Subodhini. And if you read his commentary, of course, he doesn't mention that this is Charam Shlok. And of course, his style of writing is very brief, concise, not as concise as Madhvacharya is super concise commentary. I'll just come to that point in other lectures, in next lecture. But he also writes just 4 or 5 lines, that's all. And he, if you read his commentaries, you will find that this verse, although he doesn't spell out, but this is the final verse which Bhagavad Gita is leading to. By the way, a side note here, this verse is named as Charam Shlok by one saint by the name Yamunacharya, who actually belongs to Sri Sampradaya, and he has also written a book, Gitarth Sangraha. He has written this book where he is also giving a commentary on entire Bhagavad Gita, specifically the whole format of Bhagavad Gita, and in his works he has commented this verse is Charam Shlok. Of course, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we also accept it as Charam Shlok. The last key verse in Bhagavad Gita, or the central verse in Bhagavad Gita, Charam, the highest verse in Bhagavad Gita, through the lens of which we must scan entire Bhagavad Gita, otherwise we will fall into faulty conclusions, that's all. Just like, for example, the specs, just like the spectacles, now my lens is transparent and clear, so I'll see everything transparent and clear. But if my lens is red, I'll see everything red. If it is black goggles, I'll see everything black. That's as simple as that. So if you see Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of this Charam Shlok, where the key concept is Sharanagati, or surrender, then we will find every verse is talking about surrender, and is somehow directly or indirectly leading us to surrender. Or for example, many politicians have written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, and when they read Bhagavad Gita, in every verse they find freedom of their own country. Or Mahatma Gandhi has written a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. In every verse he is finding ahimsa, non-violence, because he is seeing from that perspective. But that's his own perspective. That's not Gita's perspective. So Sridhar Swami is also commenting on this verse. His commentary on this verse, on the Charam Shlok, this verse, commentary is of course very brief. All commentaries are very brief, but he is giving a very central point and very excellent understanding. Of course, his commentary is the basis of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya commentary. The founder Acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also incarnation of Krishna, he said that we follow Sridhar Swami for all practical purposes. So he explains the verse in a very unique way, and what he says is, let's see what he says. He says, okay, 𝗙धर्मान् परित्यज्य माम् एकां शरणं व्रज. Now he says, 𝗙धर्मान् परित्यज्य, abandon all varieties of religion. Okay, all religion. 𝗙 means all, every type of dharma. Dharma means religion, 𝗙 means all, परित्यज्य means abandon. Every type of dharma, yajna, dan, tap, nitya dharma, namaitik dharma, every type of dharma, abandon with no exception. It's clear. So he's not saying abandon the fruits of religion or the false ego that I am following religion. He doesn't go into that, all that subtle things, into those things. He simply says, when Krishna says abandon it. But here's the question he raises. He says, okay, but how shall we abandon religion? That's the question. Now, he does not give this example what I am quoting in this particular verse, but he gives this example elsewhere, and he says, suppose you are climbing a ladder and you keep a foot on this stair, and then when you have to go high, you have to keep another foot on the high, so on the next step. So until unless your next step is stable, you do not leave this step. So what he is trying to say is, until unless there is something higher to hold on, you can't leave dharma. Now one thing is very clear, when Sridhar Swami is speaking about this writing commentary, this is thousands of years back, and at that time the hold of religion was very deep in our culture. Now if you say Sarv Dharman Parityajya, well, Sarv Dharman Parityajya, what dharma first of all? There is no question of Sarv Dharma, abandon religion. We do not know what is religion. Like for example, if I tell you abandon 𝗙𝗵𝗆, I say abandon 𝗙𝗵𝗆, what 𝗙𝗵𝗆? What did we do? That is the whole point. Abandon religion. What is religion? Who knows? Who the hell knows what is religion all about? Nobody understands what is dharma. We even do not know what is this word all about. But at Sridhar Swami's time, dharma was a big thing. In fact, the whole problem in Bhagavad Gita Arjuna is facing is about dharma. He says, how should I leave dharma? I will incur sinful reactions. So Sridhar Swami says, how to do that? So he says, okay, he says Sarv Dharman Parityajya. Now this word Parityajya means after leaving. Leaving, not leave. Parityajya, after leaving. So he says Sarv Dharman Parityajya, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. He says, after leaving all the religion, take shelter. Mam Sharanam Vraja, take my shelter. But how should we leave? Ekam. Now this word ekam is very important. Many acharyas, many people play with this word ekam, because it is not clear what is this ekam. I will come to this point in the next lecture, and I will talk about Shankara and Madhva. But Sridhar Swami says ekam, that is the key. Ekam means one faith. He translates ekam as faith. Ekam, mam ekam, only me. Krishna says ekam means, he translates ekam as faith. By faith, by one undivided faith, by the power of one undivided faith, you leave all varieties of religion, believing all varieties of religion, you take shelter of Krishna. Krishna says this. Leaving all varieties of religion, take my shelter. How? By the power of ek, by the power of one undivided faith in me. And that is a very beautiful translation. By the power of bhakti, in other words, faith means bhakti. By the power of devotion, you abandon all varieties of religion. Very nice. You go out to a higher level of bhakti, to a higher step, and then you leave the lower step, finish. But here Sridhar Swami raises a question. Arjuna might ask Krishna, but well, I will incur sins by leaving dharma. That is what I told you in the first chapter. If I leave dharma, if I kill my gurus, that is a dharma, I am leaving dharma, I will incur sins, what to do? Then Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami ma 𝗪𝗎. I will relieve you from all sinful reactions, do not worry. Now Sridhar Swami says, from all sinful reactions. Sridhar Swami makes a point, mokshishami. Mokshishami means I will release you. By speaking I will release you, Krishna is saying, don't worry. Anyway, your all past sins, as soon as you take shelter, all your past sins are burnt, all your present sins are burnt. If any sin you will accrue in future, that will also I will take care. I will take care of that too. Past, present, future, mokshishami. That is why the word mokshishami is in future tense. I will take care. By saying that, he is first of all confirming, giving conformity, that Arjuna does not need to take care or pressure of thinking about sins. Don't worry, Arjuna. Mahasucha, don't worry. All your grief you rest in. You should be peaceful and follow what I am saying. That's all. That's Sridhar Swami. Small, concise, but to the point. And this, his commentary will form the basis of Gaudiya Vaishnava commentaries, and I'll come to that point later. But Sridhar Swami doesn't waste words. He comes to the point, he hits the point, and it's done. So this is the meaning of this verse according to Sridhar Swami. Next lecture we will discuss the insight of Shankaracharya, which will be quite interesting and, let's say, very twisted commentary, and you will come to know in the next lecture. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.